Hey guys, it's Miss P. I'm coming at you with another video. You might remember me from such videos as box plots and histograms and basic calculator functions. And this one is just as exciting. It's about normal distributions. I didn't have room for the S. So here we go. Let's practice some normal distributions before the test. All right, scores on a chemistry test follow a normal distribution with a mean of 65 and a standard deviation of 12. So we're going to figure out these four types of questions. This one says, what percent of the class earned less than? What percent of the class earned greater than? What percent of the class earned between? And what score is the 80th percentile? So I'm going to show you how to write each one of these types of questions and how to write your notation, because I know that's something you guys want to work on. All right, so let's focus on what percent earned less than 63. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to come over to your graph. Now you would have had to hand sketch this yourself. It's a little late tonight, so excuse my sloppiness. And so we're going to figure out x is less than 63. So we're going to go. Now I know you guys don't like drawing these, but I really think that there's a lot of value to shading this, because when you get your final answer, it should match the shaded area. So if I get an answer of 80%, I can look at this and go, okay, something's wrong. This is definitely not 80%. I did something wrong. So we want to figure out what percent earned less than 63. So first you have to write, what are we talking about? And in this example, we're talking about chem scores. So we want to figure out what percent of chem scores are less than 63. So before I continue, let me make sure you understand this. This is the probability that the chem score is less than 63. The probability that the chem score is less than 63. This is just the question written using notation. Now I'm ready to solve the question. So I'm going to change 63 points into a standard score, or a z-score. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to convert that x to a z. If you convert that x to a z, that means you have to convert that number to a z. So the way we do that is using the z-score formula. That's the z-score formula. So I'm going to do x minus mu over sigma. So here's my x. My mu was 65, and my sigma was 12. So with a little arithmetic, I did this for you already so we could save a little time. The z-score is going to be less than negative 0.17. So I'm going to go to my normal distribution chart, and I'm going to go to negative 0.1. I'm going to move my finger over until I get to 0.7, which is right there, 43.25. So that means about 43% earn less than 63 points. And this is how you would show your work. Okay, what percent earned greater than 78? So again, I would have drawn this out. I'm going to go to 78. And I'm going to shade greater than 78. So the question is about chem scores. And we want to know what's the probability that the chem score is greater than 78. So that's just me rewriting the question. So now I've got to figure out, how do I solve this? Well, we can see, in our normal distribution chart at the top of the paper, it shows you that it can only give you values less than your z-score. But in this question, we specifically want one that's greater. So the chart can give me this. So I can use the chart to figure out that blue area. But I don't want that blue area, I want that purple area. Well, the area under the curve is 1. So if I subtract the blue area from 1, it's going to leave me the purple area. The blue area is the value from 78 and lower. So that's why I write it like this. So I'm saying I want to take 1, which is the area under the density curve, minus the probability that the chem score was less than 78. And now I'm just going to do z-scores here again. Okay, and then I'm going to look that up. 1.08 has a percent of 0.8599. So I subtract those two, and the area that's purple is 14%. So see how these match? So that's why it's important you shade. Kind of helps you check your work. All right, what percent earned between 63 and 78? So I picked these numbers so that way we can save a little time and just use our values from parts A and B, since we already did the math there. So here's 63, here's 78, and I want to find that purple middle region. So again, the normal distribution chart only works from less than. So that first blue line is less than 63. This pencil line is less than 78. So if I can find the area less than 63, and I can find the area less than 68. So imagine I had shaded this in. If I subtract this 63 area, if I subtract this 63 area from the 78, I'm going to be left with this purple region. So first let me write the question. So this question says, I want to figure out what's the percent of the, what percent had a chem score between 63 and 78. So we said we're going to calculate the area that's less than 78. And we're going to subtract it from the area less than 63. Then we're going to convert those into z-scores. And we already did that, so I don't have to show my work again. And remember, if you're trying these with me, just push pause and work out the problem and then turn it back on and check your work. Okay, when you look that up, that's 8599. And when you look that up, it's 0.4325. Subtract the two values and you get 0.4274 or 42%. So this is about 42%. That makes sense because one standard deviation is 68%, so about half of that. So that looks good to me. All right, last one. What score is associated with the 80th percentile? All right, so remember that these are percents. So I'm talking about the 80th percentile. So I'm going to look for 80% in here. So I'm going to go on a treasure hunt. I'm going to look for 80. And this is as close as I can get to 80%. So I'm going to work backwards. So 0.8, work up, 0.04. That gives me a z-score of 0.84. So 80% is z equals 0.84. Now using the z-score formula, I can solve for x, which would be the chem score. So I can figure out the chem score associated with 80%. So to be in the 80th percentile, you need to get a 75.08 on the chemistry exam. All right, guys, I went through that really fast, but you should know this by now, and I think you're going to do great on the test. If you have any questions, come see me before the exam, and good luck. Bye, guys.